The stadium was still echoing with the thunderous chants of Dodger Blue when Yoshinobu Yamamoto lifted the World Series MVP trophy high above his head. The lights of the ballpark shimmered on his face, and for a moment, time seemed to stop. The Japanese ace, in his first full season in Major League Baseball, had done what few ever dreamed of, winning 3 games in the World Series and delivering the Dodgers their long-awaited championship. It was a story of precision, endurance, and absolute dominance, written on the biggest stage baseball has to offer. The path to that moment began months earlier when Yamamoto first stepped onto an American mound. Fans were curious, even skeptical, about whether his Japanese league success would translate to MLB. But with every start, he erased doubts and replaced them with awe. His pitch command was art in motion, his delivery smooth yet explosive, his composure unshakable. Every outing was a demonstration of control and calculation, and by the time the postseason arrived, no one questioned whether Yamamoto belonged. In the World Series, the stakes were higher than ever. The Dodgers faced a fierce opponent, but Yamamoto was unshaken. Game 1 was his introduction, 7 innings, 1 run, and a dozen strikeouts that left even the opposing dugout nodding in quiet respect. The way he manipulated the strike zone, painting the corners with 97 miles per hour fastballs followed by devastating splitters, was a masterclass. Los Angeles won that night, and the spark of something legendary had begun. By Game 3, the pressure had built. The opposing lineup had studied his every pitch, looking for any hint of weakness. But Yamamoto, known for his adaptability, came with a completely different rhythm. He mixed curveballs that dropped like they were tied to the earth itself, and changeups that made hitters swing at air. He went 8 scoreless innings, and when he walked off the mound, Dodger Stadium roared as if it were shaking the city itself. The third and final masterpiece came in Game 7, a situation that defines careers and legends. The Dodgers had fought hard but needed one more push to seal the title. Yamamoto volunteered to start on short rest, his body worn but his determination unbroken. Reporters whispered it might be too much, but he silenced all doubt the moment he threw the first pitch, a blazing fastball right on the edge of the plate. The intensity of that final game was cinematic. Each inning, Yamamoto's control and poise were beyond human. He carved through the lineup with surgical precision, barely allowing a hit through the first 5 innings. His teammates rallied behind him, knowing they were witnessing something historic. The air was thick with tension, yet Yamamoto's expression never changed, calm, sharp, and focused like a samurai in the heart of battle. By the 7th inning, his pitch count was high, but his spirit never wavered. The coaching staff debated pulling him out, but the crowd demanded one more inning. Yamamoto stepped back onto the mound, delivering his final act with breathtaking dominance. 3 batters up, 3 batters down, the last strike a splitter that vanished into the dirt as the hitter swung helplessly. When he finally handed the ball to the manager, the stadium rose to its feet. Over 50,000 fans stood applauding, chanting his name. Yamamoto! Yamamoto! The noise rolled across Chavez Ravine like thunder. He had given everything, and the Dodgers were on the verge of glory. Moments later, the team clinched the championship with a walk-off hit. Players poured onto the field, fireworks exploded in the sky, and amidst the chaos, Yamamoto stood quietly near the dugout, smiling humbly. It was the face of a man who had conquered baseball's greatest challenge. Not through power alone, but through mastery. When the announcement came, your 2025 World Series MVP, Yoshinobu Yamamoto, the crowd erupted once more. His teammates surrounded him, pushing him toward the podium. Holding the golden trophy, Yamamoto's eyes shimmered with emotion. He thanked his teammates, his coaches, and fans in both English and Japanese, his words modest but filled with gratitude. The world watched as he raised the MVP trophy, a symbol of his triumph over pressure, fatigue, and doubt. For a rookie from Japan to win 3 games in a single World Series, it was something that hadn't been seen in generations. The baseball world stood still to honor his brilliance. Back home in Japan, fans filled the streets of Tokyo and Osaka to celebrate. Giant screens replayed his strikeouts, and his name dominated headlines. Children wore Dodger jerseys with Yamamoto 18 inches across their backs. He had not only made history in MLB but united 2 baseball-loving nations in one unforgettable moment. Analysts broke down his performance pitch by pitch, marveling at how he outsmarted hitters. His splitter, often compared to Ohtani's, dipped at impossible angles. His four-seamer carried late life that hitters couldn't catch up to. His mechanics were poetry, every motion deliberate, every release perfectly timed. It was pitching perfection. The Dodgers organization, long criticized for near misses, found its savior in Yamamoto. His arrival had shifted the entire culture of the team. He wasn't loud or flashy, his power was quiet, his confidence absolute. Coaches said his discipline was unmatched, arriving early, studying opponents, training in silence while others chatted. For teammates, Yamamoto became an inspiration. Mookie Betts praised him as a warrior in every sense. Freddie Freeman said, "He's got the heart of a champion and the brain of a genius." Even veteran Clayton Kershaw, watching from the bullpen, admitted, "That kid just rewrote the book on postseason pitching." But what made Yamamoto's journey so special wasn't just the numbers, it was his story. From his days in Nippon professional baseball, where he'd already built a legacy, to the moment he crossed the Pacific chasing a new challenge, he carried the weight of expectations from two worlds. Every strikeout in the World Series felt like a message that greatness knows no borders. The images of him kneeling on the mound after the final strikeout became iconic overnight. Sports networks played it on loop, the calm smile, the sweat on his cap, the fans waving Japanese flags behind home plate. It was baseball at its purest, emotion distilled into one frame. As dawn broke over Los Angeles the next day, celebrations continued. Fans lined the streets for the championship parade, chanting his name in unison. On the open-top bus, Yamamoto stood quietly beside Ohtani, who clapped him on the back. It was a surreal image, two Japanese superstars leading the Dodgers to a World Series crown. Sports writers called it the year of Yamamoto. Newspapers in America described his World Series dominance as otherworldly. Japanese media called it samurai soul baseball. Even rivals tipped their caps. The respect he earned crossed all boundaries, cultural, linguistic, and competitive. Behind the scenes, Yamamoto was humble as ever. He spent time signing autographs for young fans, smiling gently despite the whirlwind of fame. When asked about his MVP trophy, he simply said, "It belongs to the team." Baseball is never one man's game. Yet, everyone knew, his performance had defined the series. His mental strength, his technical mastery, his icy focus, they turned the Dodgers into champions. He had become the heartbeat of a franchise that had craved this victory for years. As the season closed, whispers began about his legacy. Could he already be one of the best pitchers to come out of Japan? Some compared his early dominance to legends like Hideo Nomo, Yu Darvish, and Ohtani. But Yamamoto's World Series feat set him apart. No one had ever done it quite like this. Fans flooded social media with highlights, that 97 miles per hour heater that froze a hitter, the splitter that danced out of the zone, the final bow he took before walking off the mound. Each clip was a reminder of the calm fire that defined his style. Even beyond baseball, Yamamoto's impact resonated. Young athletes across the world watched him and believed in new possibilities. He wasn't the biggest or loudest player, but he was proof that skill, patience, and heart could overcome any barrier. As the sun set on the Dodgers' championship celebration, Yamamoto's journey was far from over. He had conquered one mountain, but the world knew he'd soon climb higher. The MVP trophy gleamed in his hands, but in his mind, he was already thinking about the next pitch, the next season, the next dream. In the end, the 2025 World Series wasn't just about baseball. It was about a man who came from across the ocean and showed that perfection could exist on the mound. Yoshinobu Yamamoto wasn't just the MVP, he was the embodiment of excellence, dedication, and global unity through the game. His name would forever be linked with that unforgettable postseason. 3 wins, 1 championship, a legend born under the lights of Los Angeles. The echoes of that crowd still linger, Yamamoto. Yamamoto, a chant that will live in baseball history forever.